Welcome to Wednesday night OWCP Chats with Chris and Gini.
It's a very special edition of Woodshed Night.
Yes.
You'll notice the woodshed behind us, so enjoy those.
There are some woodsheds that, they're too pretty. You'll see them. The last two woodsheds are super pretty. I don't know why he even decided on putting pretty woodsheds because it's not supposed to be pretty.
Because some of us are going to go inside the woodshed and we want it to be nice when we get there.
So let me begin by saying this is for supervisors and management, but we are not saying every supervisor and every manager is bad, because we have some very good friends that are supervisor and in the management position, and they 100% care about their members.
It pained me to have to say the nice things that she just said, so I'm glad it wasn't me.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, we do know like a handful of nice, good supervisors, but unfortunately, every single one of them reports to somebody who doesn't give a damn. And so, Woodshed Night. By the way, let us know if you can hear us good. In the comments, just let us know, yeah, it sounds good, or no, it sounds bad. We've had some audio video problems each of the last few weeks, and I think I've solved those problems for tonight. So if you would just comment quickly that your sound is good. That's probably supposed to be off already.
I'm just looking to see if it's...
So, all right, Dusty said sounds good. Eric, good. Okay, thanks.
All right, so we always do this every quarter. We talk about the do's and don'ts, the rules, laws, and regulations of what supervisors should and shouldn't do, and the things that they do and they're not supposed to do. So this is the last time for the year that we will be covering management and supervisors and taking them behind the woodshed.
They're allowed inside. Inside's for us. That's where we have the bar and the snack and stuff. They don't go.
Yeah. So you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. On TikTok, you can find us on breakingowcp.com. Facebook, you can find us on breakingowcp.com. Federal Interest Centers. Breaking OWCP, Federal Interest Center. Chris Helms, Gini Helms. And then Instagram is Wednesday night OWCP Chats with Chris and JD. So
pretty much everywhere. If you can't find it, you're not looking.
What we're going to do is, since this is our last management supervisor backing night,
I'm gonna hit them hard too.
We won't do this again until next year, 2024. So I'm going to be trying to do it like right after Christmas again, because it's a couple of months. So we'd like
tell
you
your friends to
share or tag them on this post. You do the @ and their name, and then that way they'll get the notification. And
this will be super worth it, because there's going to be some stuff on here that they're going to listen to and go, no way, I can't believe that I didn't know that already. I've got pages of rules, laws, and regulations that you'll find in my books, Breaking OWCP, but they just apply so many places. I was on a call today with Jennifer and Emmy and Tom, and just discussing the importance of knowing these laws. And, what can we do? How can we do a better job promoting these laws to our federal employee friends before they get hurt? Because once they get hurt, they don't know the rules. Like, if you don't know the rules, you get hurt, you're going to get hosed. Hurt, then hosed.
Yeah.
And I have this quote that I say, like, among all the other criticisms that I've got, is that the pain of the system should not be worse than the injury itself. But unfortunately, it is. And the reason that's the case is because A, management are jerks, and B, you don't know the rules. So, you have an obligation to help yourself. So here you are, you're here, good. Now help somebody else. Just let them know that we're live, and tonight I'm going to take management behind the woodshed, and it's going to be fun and entertaining. Get your popcorn, get your bourbon, get whatever you need to get right tonight, and settle in. This is going to be fun.
And another thing too, I got a few messages today. I was telling Chris about where somebody asked me a question and they said that's not what management said, but I know what I was saying was 100% true. So whatever we tell you here, it is accurate.
Yeah, it's shocking.
It's accurate.
So many people say, well, oh no, that's not what management said. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do what they tell us. And I don't know.
Okay.
It'll pass.
So we're going to start with, we'll start with this. What happens when your manager stops you from filing your claim, either your CA1 or CA2? Because that was actually one of the questions today. Somebody and Chris was actually talking about this, that some supervisors are actually filing for other patients.
So let me tell this story.
So, hold on. He's gonna talk a story. So what we're gonna do is, he's gonna talk about all the rules, laws, and regulations, and then he'll say, send your questions. Then you can send your questions. So, if you can real quick, once you're hopping on, share. You can just go right from here and click the share button, and then it'll post to whatever feed you want it to. So share, share, share. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. If your friends don't have social media, have them hop on at YouTube and find us on Wednesday night OWCP Chats with Chris and Gini, because it's live right now. And hello everybody on TikTok and everything else. So let's get started.
A special hello to the office in Greenville, South Carolina. They're here and they are killing it.
Yes.
Keith Glatzer from Portland is here. Everyone give him a big hello. Woo-hoo. He's really excited to be able to help you. He's new. He's already got 2 new patients to help. Hopefully some more this week. We haven't talked. So, you know, Portland's finally getting some relief. South Carolina's just getting crushed. Accepted claims are just happening left and right. We love it. And hello, Jennifer Sprock. Thanks for being here. She's one of the case managers and she's helping folks out. So I heard this story today that in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, supervisors are creating an e-comp account on behalf of the employee and then filling out the CA1 and CA2 in its entirety, meaning filling out page 1, which is your page, and then their own, and then submitting it. And then to make it worse, because they created the account, the employee has no access to their own e-comp file. And I'm just gonna ask, like, just use a little common sense for a second when I ask this question. Does that make any sense? You know, e-comp is for you. When you go and create an account, it asks for your personal information. You create a username, you create a password, you put in all of your demographic information on the next screen, and then boom, you've got an account. I can't understand for the life of me how anybody could allow that to happen. I mean, if you're a federal employee, how do you allow your supervisor to do this? You know, just read the CA-10. There's this form called a CA-10, what a federal employee should do and enter to work. And number 1 says report to supervisor. Number 2 says get a CA-16, choose your own doctor. Number 3 says you fill out CA-1 and 2 on e-comp. Well, in that box, that paragraph about e-comp, it does not say supervisor create an e-comp account and fill out forms for the patient or for the employee. That's totally ridiculous. So, like, just a little common sense. Don't allow management to do the things that are going to hurt you. Don't let it happen. And, you know, I get so angry with management, but there's a real part of me that just wants to throw stuff when I hear that someone allowed supervisors to do what I just explained. Like, you just got to know a little better and exercise a little bit better judgment. So if that happened to you, you need to write a letter to your claims examiner or call and leave a voicemail to your claims examiner and say, look, my e-comp account was hijacked by my supervisor and I want it back. It's yours. You have every right to it. So if that happened to you, you know, I'm going to give you a pass this one time as long as you call your claims examiner tomorrow and fix it. But man, supervisors are dirty. You know, we've also heard of some supervisors putting on, back in the old days when it was all paper forms, the supervisors were putting the page or the employee's home address as the agency's address. And that means that all the Department of Labor letters that would have said, you know, your claims accepted, your claims denied, you're not getting paid or whatever, were going to management, not to the people. This is going to get me fired up. I mean, these are the things that happen when you let them happen. And I've been saying this for a long time. The reason management pushes you around is because you're not pushing back. Now, tonight is woodshed night. All of my 2x4s are verbal 2x4s. I want to tell you in advance, I do not endorse violence. I'm not suggesting that you go do it. If I say anything that sounds violent, you know, I don't know what to tell you because I'm not that guy. But what I am telling you is you got to stand up for yourself. And when common sense, you know, gives you that feeling in your gut, go with it because it's probably right. You cannot let management pull this crap on you anymore. It's too bad. So tonight I'm going to talk about rules. And unfortunately, there is no law that says about your own e-comp account because that's like the law of common sense. So I don't have a law on that one. But the CA-10 does tell you to go do it. It doesn't tell your supervisor to do it. So go check out your form CA-10. You should post those in your break rooms.
I just wanted to say something because we have a Chandra Boyer, and this kind of tickled my fancy. It says, I'm having a hard time getting my CA2 from my supervisor. needed for my appointment next week with Federal Injury Centers. The report on eComp is missing the date of injury.
Yeah.
So you don't need to get it from your supervisor.
Yeah, you go to your eComp case file and it's there, and you don't need it. Let me just tell you, we want you to have it because it helps us write your narrative report, and it gives us critical information to make sure that we're on the same page with what you told OWCP and what your supervisor said. But if you're struggling getting it, still come to your appointment, because we can still do a proper intake and we can still get a narrative report written. And probably at that point, we can help you get your CA2 off of eComp.
Right.
So don't avoid your appointment. That's only bad for you. Just come on in. We'll help you. Don't worry about that. It's good that you know that that's something you have to do, and we'll help you out. Who saw that?
I don't
I'm gonna see. I knew it. Ron strikes again. What's up, Ron? So, all right. So I'm gonna go through some rules, and I'm gonna talk about some specifics. Many of you that have been with us for a while have heard some of these things, but there's a lot of new people on, and so we got to go through them. There's no particular order. I just printed out all the laws, rules, and regulations from my books, breakingowcp.com. Download them all to your phone, put them in your pocket. But I'm going to go through the rules in no particular order. This is going to be fun. So we're going to start with the Form CA-16. The CA-16 pays all your medical bills for 60 days following a TA1 injury. Does that sound good or good? If that sounds good, hit a bunch of loves, because the CA-16 pays your bills so you don't have to. And the cool thing about the CA-16 is that, let's say your claim is ultimately denied, which does not happen at Federal Injury Centers, but let's just say you're someplace else. You never have to pay it back. Ever. You just get help for 60 days and you never have to pay it back. So the CA-16 is critically important. And your supervisors play dumb. I always say, another criticism, they're either dumb or they're playing dumb. Well, in this case, it's both, because more often than not, they will not give you a Form CA-16. And along with continuation of pay, CA-16 and COP, the absence of it are the keys to financial failure in your personal life, because you can't work and you're not getting paid and the bill's still got to get paid. It's a serious problem. And so I like starting with the CA-16, because you need to, number one, know about it. When I go to a room full of federal employees at union conventions, I ask, who's ever heard of a CA-16? And maybe 10% of the room raises their hand. Well, if 10% of the people have heard of a CA-16 and 100% of supervisors want to hide it, what do you think is going to happen? So you all got to get informed. Again, share, tell your friends we're here doing this, right? But the Form CA-16, you can't find it online. I mean, you can go to federalinjurycenters.com, and I've got a blank copy. But you're supposed to get it from your supervisor. So you need to take that 16 off of federalinjurycenters.com to your supervisor and say, fill this out and sign it. That way they don't say, I don't have to, or I don't have it, I can't find it. And then I've got a document at breakingowcp.com that will help you get your CA-16, because it's got the rules attached to it. And so what happens here is, check this out. The rule says that the employer shall issue, everyone knows what shall means. It's absolute. Shall issue Form CA-16 within 4 hours. What does that mean? Like pretty much right away, right? But most of you don't get a CA-16. And so most of you have no way to pay for your medical bills. And most of you can't get better in a timely fashion and get back to work. So your supervisors are harassing you because they're jerks. They're threatening you because they're assholes. Sorry. And you can put a stop to it by A, getting your claim accepted by going to a Federal Injury Centers doctor. But B, getting a CA-16 so you can immediately start getting better. All right, that's so important. So the supervisor has 4 hours to give it to you. And then what they'll do, because they're jerks, is they'll wait like longer than a week, and they'll say, oh, well, you had a week to get it, you didn't get it. Well, that's not what the rule says either. The rule says that you have to report your injury within 7 days, and then they have 4 hours to give it to you. If you report your injury within 7 days, and then on day 8, they haven't given it to you yet, who violated the law, you or them?
They did.
They did. So why should you be ineligible from a form that they violated? File a grievance, call the OIG, do smoke signals, I don't care, okay? A bat signal, do whatever it takes, get your CA-16. I think the unions are uniquely in a position to fix this problem. Union reps, you've got to start fighting back, because your folks need a CA-16. It is maybe the most important thing they can do when they get a work injury is get a CA-16.
Like Dusty Mathis said, good luck in getting one at Fort Leonard Wood, MO. Was it Montana, Missouri?
Yeah. Missouri.
Missouri, yeah. You can get one.
Yeah, you can go to federalinjurycenters.com. There it is right there. And go to the OWCP Forms tab and print your very own beautiful copy of the CA-16 and take it to your supervisor.
Make them do it. And just if they don't, just do exactly what Chris said. File a grievance.
File a grievance. They are absolutely required to give it to you. Well, I said OIG.
OIG.
They're violating a law. So who handles law? Well, the DOJ. You know, the OIG is right there. Yeah. They can investigate. Nobody, not even management, wants to see an OIG person with a badge show up. Nobody wants that.
Because then they investigate everything going on in the post office, not just that one thing that you've complained about.
Right. I mean, it could be a potential disaster for management, which would be cool. So CA-16s, super important. But let me tell you what the end of this rule says. Letter D of this rule says the employer should advise the employee of the right to his or her initial choice of physician, and the employer shall allow the employee to select a qualified physician. So that's the second thing I'm going to talk about. Because everywhere I go, people say, my supervisor said I have to go to this urgent care, or I've got to go to the ER, or, you know, I have to go to whatever doctor that, you know, maybe the agency's contracted with, or if you're a VA employee, the VA HR folks say you have to go to a VA doctor. Well, no, you don't. You just don't. You don't have to go to the VA doctor. In fact, there's this other thing in the form CA-810 that says agency personnel may not interfere with the employee's right to choose a physician, nor may they require an employee to go to a physician who's employed by or under contract through the agency before going to the physician of the employee's choice. But you don't know the rules, and so you're getting pushed around by people who have bad intentions. You can pick whatever doctor you want. Nobody can do anything about it. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can get in your way. You cannot be penalized, period. And they're supposed to tell you it's your right to choose, but that's like the ultimate joke. You know, if I were going to make a meme, the supervisor would be like a clown, and it would be that quote. It would be that the employer should advise you of your right to choose a physician, because that's the biggest joke of all time. They would never do it. Yvonne said you can sign a waiver to see another doctor. You don't have to sign a waiver to see a doctor, Yvonne. All you have to do is exercise your right to choose. Yeah. It is your absolute initial choice of physician. Absolute choice. They can't do anything about it. You have to sign a waiver. The agency needs to get the hell out of the way. It is not their business what doctor you see. That's really, really important. And she said that's what they made you. I know. They made you do it because they're idiots. And tell them I said so. It's true. I mean, there's nothing in the rule that talks about signing a waiver. The law says you have a right to choose, and they have to get out of the way. What waiver do you need to sign? They should sign a waiver that says, hey, we understand you can choose any doctor you want.
Don't do any waivers. And see, those are the things that we're telling you about that you're hearing from people that really don't know the law, or management really doesn't know what they're saying because maybe they're not educated, trained, or whatever. So a lot of you are thinking, okay, nope, well, that's not how it's going to be, or that's not how it's supposed to be. But he's giving you the actual law.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading straight from the Code of Federal Regulations.
So there are.
Ron will tell you what a big deal that is.
Yeah, but there are codes, and if you ever need one of those codes, I may be posting maybe one code a day with the rules and laws, just so you guys can start seeing that in our posts. So if you ever needed it, you can look at it. Plus all the books that Chris has wrote. Is it all the laws in there, or is it just with certain one?
I mean, if you get all four of them, you'll get all the laws.
Yeah, so if you get all four of them, yeah, the laws are in there, so you can actually show them. That's why he tells you guys to get it on PDF, so you can go, look, this is what it said about a CA-16, hand it over, biatch.
I mean, go ahead, freedom of speech and stuff. And just by the way, Yvonne, I know I came off strong on that. I'm grateful you're here. I appreciate you being here, and that wasn't a knock on you. That was just a burst of anger toward your supervisor, because, you know, you have to understand, we are involved in thousands of OWCP claims, and we see these all the time. And it's easy on me to get mad because management really, really screws you all over like bad. And I can see that our screen is glitchy. That's Wi-Fi. Sorry, I don't control the Wi-Fi waves. All right. I'm going to stop it down in a minute and do questions, but I just want to do this one more rule, and then I'll let you have some questions. This one says the employer shall complete the agency portion of CA1 or CA2 no more than 10 days after receipt of notice from the employee. Why is that important? Because still supervisors will not complete their portion. They say they don't have to. You know, they get an email after you do your part on eComp, and then they don't do it. And I'm getting people still all the time saying it's been more than 10 days. What do I do? Well, the answer is file a damn grievance.
Yes.
You know, contact OIG, contact OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA, and ask, is it a safety violation or is it a violation for my supervisor to not allow me to exercise my 6th OSHA right, which is the right to report a work injury? OSHA says out of their 9 employee rights, the 6th right is the right to report a work injury. Is it a violation for my supervisor to ignore my OWCP CA1? Is that a violation? Find out, because I bet it is. Otherwise, why did OSHA go out of their way to say that you have the right to report a work injury if it's not a violation if you're not afforded that right?
Right.
Because they also say it's a crime. I have it here. It is a crime. Hold on, because let's get word for word what this thing says.
And these are not codes that he's made up. This is actually the law.
If I made them up, they'd be a lot more harsh.
I know. That's true.
OSHA says it is illegal for an employer to fire, demote, transfer, or otherwise retaliate against a worker for using their rights under the law. Hello, why do you say that? And why is your 6th employee right the right to report a work injury? I think that's curious, and we should ask questions to OSHA about it. So you have the absolute right to report an injury. You have the absolute right to have your supervisor do their part. The eComp file is yours. Do not let your agency create your own eComp file and fill out your CA1 or CA2 for you.
No, do not.
That makes my heart just like skip a beat. Don't let that happen. And you choose your own doctor. Demand a CA16. Under no circumstance will you allow your supervisor to forbid you from getting a CA16, period. And then you make them do their part. You have to do it. What's happening and the reason why you're getting screwed over so bad is you're allowing it.
Yeah.
You're allowing it. This is woodshed night for supervisors. You get invited in, they get invited to the back, and they won't like it. But I'm going to tell you, with a little bit of a sweet lecture, you got to do your part too.
Okay, we're going to go do some questions. If you guys notice that Ron is putting down some codes on there, so if there's a code that Chris has said, I know Ron will help out and post it on there.
Yeah, and all of these are in my book.
And they're on the book. And then, like I said, I will start like maybe every other day or at least once a week. I will try to post a new CFR that you may not know. And still the 14,000 people plus that follow us, are not on live right now. We get it. But those are all the people that still need to hear this, and all the other social media groups that are not with us, that haven't added us or whatever. But yeah. All right. Walter Dade. If given a CA16 initial, can they take it back if your injury is found to be different?
So there's no rule that says they can take a CA16 back, but there is a rule that says, I'll just find it. I've got it right here. It'll just take a second. Okay. A number of statutory provisions make it a crime to file a false or fraudulent claim in connection with a claim under FICA. So if you filed a false claim, that would be the only reason that a CA16 would be taken back. And getting a CA16 taken back is the least of your problems if you filed a false or fraudulent claim. By the way, I'm not saying you did that, and I don't see people doing it. But if you filed a false or fraudulent claim, you can go to jail, right? So losing a CA16 is nothing. But that's the only way you could lose a CA16 is if they found that the claim you filed was false or fraudulent. But then you lose way more than a CA16.
The code that Ron just posted, the US code 1922, whoever induces or compels, I just pinned it at the bottom. So if you want to copy it or take a screenshot of it, just go down to the bottom and I've pinned it. So if he puts up another code, I'll go ahead and pin it. Melissa Williams says, it's not my postmaster or my supervisor, it's my caseworker at DOL. Oh,
Yeah, so the deal with caseworkers, nurse case managers, is you can write a letter to your claims examiner requesting your nurse case manager to be removed from your case, and they will remove that person. It doesn't mean they won't give you a new one, but you can have that one removed. I know of and I won't say who, but I know of a nurse case manager that actually has a restraining order put on her. She can't even come within however many feet or yards or miles. So yeah, nurse case managers don't have the absolute right to be there. You can remove them.
yeah. Debbie, okay, because we're not gonna go over this tonight. Anybody that has a schedule award issue or a third party issue or needing an attorney, just please, after the chats, just message me, because we went over schedule awards last week. And
you can always go back and look at last week,
yeah,
right?
But you can go watch the video last week, but for those of you that are asking, you need an attorney or something for a schedule award, just message me after the chats and I will make sure it gets taken care of tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll help you out as soon as a private message.
So, Debbie, I hope I answered your question there. We have, let's see. Doesn't matter says, that's a cool name. That's another one. Doesn't look it.
I see it. Doesn't matter.
What can I do if my management refuses to follow restrictions from Federal Injury Center's doctor while a claim is pending from a CA2?
So the claim is pending, meaning not accepted yet. That's going to be tough, because without the claim being accepted, they can pretty much run roughshod over your limited light duty. You're going to need to get your union involved and have them fight. I was telling my staff this today, actually, that they need to be reminding you to go get involved with your union, and because unions, especially strong union reps, can help you with this.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you need to do. Careful bending that thing backwards too much. She just hyperextended this thing's knee.
Go this way?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let me get to these other questions. Okay, West Virginia. Son hurt his hand and he was off a week. He's in his 90 days. He transferred to another office because a supervisor got in trouble for not reporting his accident. She told him, suck it up. Well, that wouldn't work with me. 2 weeks later, she filed an emergency placement. Also, nothing has been said to pay his doctor bill. The union rep is ignoring him.
Okay, so first of all, union reps, come on. You can't ignore your folks. It makes it really hard for me to be in the union's corner when I hear stories like that. I mean, I'm still in the union's corner, but there's almost no defense for ignoring your people. But that's not what tonight is. This isn't take union reps behind the woodshed. Okay, so the supervisor ignored it for 2 weeks. You need to contact OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA. You need to talk to another union person and file a grievance. And go ahead and go on eComp, okay? Nobody can prevent you from filing your claim on eComp. Nobody can prevent that, okay? That is a thing you do on the internet. You can do it with your phone. You can do it anywhere you are, any time of the day, anywhere in the world. So go file your eComp claim and go to your union, find another union rep, file a grievance, contact OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA.
Another cool name. Anchors Away 91.
Yeah, this is good.
I know. Is the office in Paramus, New Jersey open? Yes, they are open. If you want to find out any of our locations, just go to federalinjurycenters.com and click locations. It'll pop up when you see the map. So I don't know if we have that one pinned yet, but their information is on there.
And if any office,
please let me know. Send me a message.
but yeah, it's ready to go.
Let's see. Walter dates that I mean turned into a occupational injury. Oh,
I forgot what the first part that was. Sorry, Walter. We'll get back to that though.
Paramus, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yes, they are open. Okay, so go ahead since there's nothing else.
Okay, so and by the way, if we missed any of your questions, don't be mad at us. Just repost it.
Yeah.
It won't bother us for you to repost it. There's a lot of people watching. Okay. So the next one I want to talk about is the time for reporting an injury. Because there's this dirty rumor out there that you only have 3 days or 2 weeks or 30 days to file an injury. And, anytime I ask this in front of large crowds of people, almost nobody knows the answer is 3 years. You have 3 years to report an injury. So 3 years to report an injury is quite a bit more than 30 days, 2 weeks, whatever, right? 3 days for sure. And, the supervisors are responsible for keeping you safe at work. That's important. If you had a safety problem at work, OSHA would shut it down, right? No question about it. You have a chemical spill, OSHA shuts it down. You got a lot of people getting their leg amputated in a machine, OSHA's going to shut it down.
Right.
Well, what happens if a lot of people are limping around and causing a danger to themselves and others, and nobody is telling them they can get help? That sounds like a safety problem to me too. And you shouldn't tolerate it. But supervisors are dumb or playing dumb, and it wouldn't surprise me if most supervisors didn't. Honestly, if they genuinely didn't know that you have 3 years to report an injury, that wouldn't surprise me. In fact, if I did a poll of supervisors and I asked, how long do you have to report an injury? And I even made it multiple choice. I'd say 3 days, 2 weeks, 30 days, 45 days, and 3 years. That's what I would do. And I'll bet you that 10% of supervisors would answer that correctly. That would be just a guess.
That's true.
I'd love to be able to survey supervisors, but I'm not sure they'd know how to access the link on their email to be able to do it. So I'm not sure supervisors would even see the survey, because I'm not sure they even know how to access email.
And I mean, we've gone to a lot of union conventions where, Chris is training presidents, and a lot of them have no clue that these laws exist, some of them.
You know who did, though? That claims examiner?
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, he's an exception.
He was really cool.
But we went to an all presidents convention, and the people there were blown away. They were like, wait, what? There's a law for that? There's a rule for this?
And it's not your fault. Look,
it's not their fault.
How would you know this if you weren't taught it?
Okay. And there's so much for a union president to have to learn.
Yeah, you have to know, union presidents have to know way more than just OWCP.
Yeah.
How to file a grievance is another thing. How to do EEOs, that's a thing. Labor board, that's a thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that you got to know how to do. I only have to know this one thing, and that's OWCP.
Yep.
So, any other questions?
Yeah, okay, so Ms. Rosa said, USPS supervisor is requesting a referee appointment since most recent second opinion report is in conflict with the initial second opinion report. OWCP QAM sent me to recent second opinion due to an initial second opinion not considered well rationalized.
All right, so sadly, I can tell you that the supervisor does have the ability to request a referee opinion. They can request a second opinion. It doesn't mean it'll always be granted, but they can do it. I recently learned everything there is to know about the second opinion business. And that was the one thing that really kind of stood out the most to me, is that supervisors have any say whatsoever, but they don't have any say as far as how the claims examiner weighs the evidence between the treating doctor and the second opinion of the referee. But yeah, it was shocking to find out that a supervisor can make that request.
Yeah.
They're not always, in fact, I think usually not granted, but they can always request it. But I'll bet you they almost never are granted.
Vaughn Shante, she asked, can you explain filing a secondary injury?
So there's a couple of things that could mean. I'll go and talk about both of them. It could be a consequential, or it could be a diagnosis expansion, or hell, it could be a third thing. It could be just like you got another injury. So let's say that you have a claim that's approved, and it's a knee, and you're limping around. As a result of your right knee being hurt, you've limped, and now your left knee hurts. So that would be consequential. If it weren't for the right knee being hurt, the left would never have been hurt. That would be a consequential injury. Diagnosis expansion, let's say that you've got a knee sprain, and that gets approved, and then later on they do an MRI, which for us, we do the MRI now. We don't wait on MRIs, but other doctors don't. They're not efficient like us. And so maybe they wait and they do an MRI later and they realize you have a meniscus tear. Well, then we want to add meniscus tear to your approved claim, which already includes a knee sprain. Well, that adding of a diagnosis is a diagnosis expansion. And then the other thing is, like, you just have a shoulder injury and it turns out later on you got another injury that's your knee. Well, then you just file a new claim, whether it's a CA1 or a CA2, depends on how it happened.
You can ask a question anytime. You don't have to ask if you can ask a question.
So and you know what?
That's the way
So there's a lot of new folks here tonight. And I want to say this just on a personal note. Anybody named Yu is good with me, because she went to the University of Utah, which is, as I understand it, the only college in the country that's named UU. So I have a special affection for that name.
Let's see. Tyrone says,
So Tyrone?
Can a supervisor keep a file on you when you get hurt? Like you see a 16 or 17, my doctor visit. Oh, he's asking if he has to keep that on his own file.
So look, you should keep your own file, but supervisors can keep the file. They have access to your 16, your 17, your CA20. So they can. There's no reason it's kept in your e-comp case file. Like, it's in your case file anyways. If your supervisor wants to make this extra step of keeping them in their file, that's no problem. They have access to it. The supervisor can actually request a CA 17 or 20 anytime they want.
Vaughn said, that's my situation, compensating my weight, messed up my right knee and hips.
Yeah, so you potentially, and I don't know your whole case, but you could have a consequential injury.
Oh, I like this one. Dusty said, they keep sending me job offers and only giving me less than 24 hours to respond and report to duty, which the job was out of my duty restrictions.
Well, I'll be damned, because I actually have the rules on this.
He'll be darned.
I will be damned as well, except unless you're in Salt Lake City, I will be darned. Okay, so write this down if you like. The Code of Federal Regulations is CFR. It's 20 CFR 10.15. 20 CFR 10.516. OWCP shall advise the employee, the OWCP shall advise the employee that it has found the offered work to be suitable and afford the employee 30 days to accept the job or present any reason to counter OWCP's findings. 30 days, but who's advising you there? OWCP. Is the supervisor advising that? No, they're not. And let me tell you why. 20 CFR 10.515, letter C says, if the employer has advised an employee in writing that specific alternative positions exist within the agency, the employee shall provide the description and physical requirements to the attending physician to ask whether and when he or she will be able to perform such duties. So here's what happens. The supervisor has to give you in writing, okay? They got to say in writing, here's your limited duty offer. They also have to send it to OWCP, to your claims examiner. Now, why would they do that? Because the claims examiner also has an opportunity to read it, okay? So they get a chance to weigh in on it. And I'm going to read something else to you in a second, but let me finish this thought. And then once the claims examiner determines that, yeah, okay, this looks like a suitable job offer, it looks like it, I'm not a doctor, but it looks like it, then they say to you, hey, you get an opportunity to show this to your doctor. I'm going to give you 30 days to accept it. Now, what sounds like more reasonable and common sense? 30 days to let your doctor look at it, or you have to sign it right now under the gun. Well, right now under the gun is not the rule. And then this says offers of employment. If the agency can provide alternative limited duty work, it will make an offer to the injured employee and provide a copy to OWCP. Then OWCP reviews it. Then OWCP gives you 30 days. And then you, during that 30 days, get to show it to your doctor. And if there's a dispute, guess what they do? They give you an extra 15 days. So that's a total of a max of 45 days. Does that sound like under the gun right now? It does not. So I'm glad that question came up. Thanks for asking it.
That was Dusty, right?
Yeah.
Can you read that? You said, hurt my back yesterday at work, went to the urgent care. Am I supposed to file a CA 16? Well, you have to do quite a few things,
Let me answer.
Also, after this, message me in case you don't remember what Chris says. I will go ahead and send it to you because I did that the last 2 days like 15 times, telling it step by step. So message me after, but Chris will answer.
Okay, so here's what happened. You got hurt yesterday. You saw an urgent care, so you're already on the wrong track. But it's okay because maybe it was urgent and you needed it. But I can get you right back on the right track right now. Go to ecomp.dol.gov. ecomp.dol.gov. Create an account. Once you create an account, you go and you file a CA1. You go CA1, click the CA1 button. It says, among other things, CA1. You click it and you fill out page 1. You need your supervisor's email address. Your supervisor is going to receive an email where they have to fill out their portion, which is 1 page, okay, equal to how much you had to fill out, by the way, 1 page. And then they have 10 days to submit that to OWCP. But let me explain that 1 page. It's easy. If it takes them 10 days, then they're not playing dumb, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, they just are. It's not a 10-day process. It's like a 10-minute process. So you go to ecomp.dol.gov. That's how you report your injury. Telling your supervisor you were hurt, going to the urgent care they sent you to will not get your claim approved. It will not even get your claim on a radar. Nobody's even going to know that claim exists, and your supervisor is going to hope like everything that you don't figure out what I just told you. So go to ecomp.dol.gov, get an account, fill out a CA1, tell your supervisor to check their email and do their job. They have 10 days, but it takes 10 minutes. And then say, I want my CA16 right now. You were supposed to give it to me yesterday within 4 hours when I told you I was hurt. Print a CA16 off of www.federalinjurycenters.com. Take it to your supervisor and do not accept no for an answer. Call us tomorrow, send us a Facebook message, do whatever it takes. We'll walk you through it. But I'm happy that you're here tonight. Thank God you're here tonight because we can fix this before it gets out of hand.
Yeah. Debbie also said I had shoulder surgery and surgery on a 99% tear on my bicep. I also injured my right as well in an LLB accident. My claim was closed in May. What do I need to do now? My claim was a mess from the beginning. My postmaster at the time filled out the CA7 and had me sign it. I knew nothing about what was going on, and meaning I found out later I was supposed to fill it all out. Yep.
Then later she said CA1, not 7. She meant CA1, but.
Oh yeah, they're not supposed to fill that out. Whoops, we just said that right at the beginning.
Jeez. But it sounds like
man.
it when it was on paper. Okay, let us know where you're at. Send us a private message on Facebook.
I will help you out.
We're gonna have to walk you through this. This isn't something I can really explain in a way that'll make sense, but it's definitely fixable. Let us help you fix that, please.
Dusty said yes, but my claims examiner told me yesterday when I questioned her about that, she said she didn't know what the repercussion was for me for the employee agency if I wanted to accept the position. Also, she didn't know if I would be paid by OWCP for the 30 days.
Well, that's because OWCP recently hired a whole bunch of new claims examiner, and a lot of these new claims examiners aren't ready. That's why that happened.
Doesn't matter? No. If you have a CA2 injury, you do not get a CA16.
Oh yeah, so you only are eligible for a CA16 with a CA1 claim that you report. And a CA1 is something where an injury happened in a single shift, right?
Yeah. It
happened just now today. And you have to report that injury within 7 days. Now, why you wouldn't report it right away baffles me.
You all right?
Yeah, just couldn't figure if it's boggle. I didn't know if it's boggle, baffle, or baggle. It was baffle. But it baffles me. Like, why wouldn't you just report right away? And I know most of you are scared to do it, or you don't know how to do it, or you don't even know there's OWCP. But as long as you report a CA1 injury within 7 days, you have the absolute right to a CA16 within 4 hours of the claimed injury.
So I want to talk about a real quick story before Chris goes on with the next law. Today I had a conversation with this guy. I don't even know. He number one, he refused to tell me what city and state he's in, so I didn't bother him. And he's probably watching it. It's okay. Number two, he started telling me how he got injured. He was told he's not supposed to file. He's been there for almost 32 years. Then on top of that, he said that...
32 years, you should learn something about OWCP. And many of you have been there with your agency that long, and I'm sorry, that's not an insult, but gosh.
And that was his first time. He's never been injured in 32 years.
That's a miracle.
Yeah. So he also said that... No, I forgot. Oh, that the supervisor sent him to a certain place and said, do not tell anybody that I sent you here. When he wound up going there, obviously it wasn't a walk-in clinic, it wasn't an ER, it was just a regular primary care or somebody's office. He went there, they said they don't take federal or comp, but we'll take your insurance. So now when I'm telling him, no, don't do that, he's like, no, I'm scared. This man that's been at the post office for 32 years was scared to file his injury. Now he's asking me, you know, what am I going to do? Who's going to pay my insurance bill? And I said, this is why you need to file your claim. And he said, I am too scared to file this claim. And I said, then you cannot, you know, ask me who's going to pay all these bills because it's your responsibility. You're using your health insurance. So I wanted to end it with that. Well, you go to the next thing.
Well, that's not going to end it. That's actually the start of the next thing. So
that's what I meant. I know that conversation was.
You know, it's hard to see me from here, but my eyes get red when I think of these things. You know, being scared of your supervisor, it's like being scared of the boogeyman or who's ever in, you know, the monster in the closet or the monster under the bed. Because when you look under there or in there, guess what? It ain't there. it's not scary, or it's more like a monster's eating monster, like super happy and nice. Although supervisors aren't.
I mean, again, he's been there for 32 years, and this man, older gentleman, is telling me he fears his supervisor. Why are you guys fearful? It doesn't get into my head. I've worked with the meanest boss in my life, and Chris knows that. And if I had an injury, I'm going to tell him, or I would have told him, I need to see the doctor, I need to file for my claim. I don't care.
I'll put him in a headline. What we're going to do. My newest book, it's called Breaking OWCP Volume 4. I don't know why am I struggling with talking tonight? I get fired up on woodshed.
That's what it is.
I think the words are coming fast in the mouth to move.
Yeah.
But Volume 4 is called 25 Things You Can Do to Win in OWCP. And if you have not downloaded this book yet, you're missing out. The OWCP rep for the Bureau of Prisons looked at it and said, this is the Bible for OWCP. Now, I didn't ask him to say that, but it's true. And I didn't realize it was going to be as important as it is, but it is damn important because it's like the condensed version of the most important things that you need to know to get a claim approved. But guess what number 25 is? Don't tell him. I'm going to tell him. Number 25 is I don't care what my supervisor thinks. That's like the grand finale. I don't care what my supervisor thinks. Being scared of management, you know what I'm scared of? If I'm you, by the way, and your job is so hard that this NFL guy that we know said, I wouldn't do that job. NFL guys are world-class athletes. And he said, I wouldn't do that job. It's too hard. What you do in our company at Federal Injury Centers, we call you industrial athletes. We refer to you as exactly what you are, industrial athlete.
Yes, you are.
You're doing a job that is freaking hard. And what scares me is knowing that I've got to provide for my family, doing a job that's that hard, and the possibility of not being able to physically do that job and not being able to get help so that I can get back to do that job. Now, when I think of how my house payment's got to be made and my electric bill's got to be paid and my son's car is going to need gas and they're going to complain if their cell phones go off, and if the Wi-Fi goes down, they're just going to bitch and complain about it all night long if I don't pay the bill. I start thinking, does my supervisor's opinion really matter that much?
Right.
Because the opinion of the people in my house matters a lot. And management is threatening you, they're harassing you, they're just doing all kinds of just awful things to you that are totally against the law. And the only reason they're able to get away with it is because you let them. Okay, they get away with it as much as you let them get away with it. This is like the pinnacle of woodshed knife for me right here, okay? This is the part where I tell you that you've got to use the laws as a 2x4 around your supervisor's head. You've got to take the laws and say, this is how it's going to be done from now on. This is how we do it. If you're a postal employee, it's the element, which comes from the freaking Code of Federal Regulations. And the Code of Federal Regulations was written by federal employees for federal employees.
Yep.
On purpose. It's not written in a way that you're going to get screwed over. It's written in a what the hell is wrong with my voice? It is written in a way that is meant to protect you, not to penalize you. You cannot be penalized for having a work injury. Now, the supervisors can try to pull that shit, but you know what? Ultimately, you're going to win. I've seen people get fired and then get rehired and paid for all their time off.
We have seen that.
It's like they went on vacation. Thanks for the vacation, dummy, because I'm back, and now you're just going to have to follow the law. So, that's why we love working with unions, and especially APWU and AFGE, because those two unions allow me to come in and say this stuff to their members.
Mail handlers.
Well, the mail handlers do too, but more on a limited basis, but I love the mail handlers. Thank you so much. But no, because these groups allow me to come in and sound off. And they don't muffle me. They don't censor me in any way. I get to just say what you need to hear. And so I'm going to say to you and to your union reps, it's time to fight back. This stuff can't continue happening. Being scared after 32 years to report an injury is unthinkable. After 32 years, you should be walking around like you own the place. But management, they just have a way.
Yeah, and Kathy said it's the USPS culture. Actually, it's not only USPS, Kathy, it's all of AFGE too, and everybody that falls under them, like TSA, Border Patrol. Like, they all get it. We hear this from the VA so much, like, literally almost every day somebody's complaining about something happening in the VA and HR is getting involved and their supervisors are saying no. It's like you bent down, you pick somebody up and you just jacked your back. What do? Oh, I'm okay. No, because if you do stay home, what's going to happen? They don't care that you don't have any money. And if you do never show up to work again or you pass away, they're going to hire somebody else in your place, sadly.
Read some more questions. I need to calm down a little bit.
Okay, me too. Mary said, I exactly did what you just said. Filed and get approved, otherwise all my bills would be piled up if she used insurance.
I'm right.
Thanks to this group and most to the two of you. God always be with you. Aw, Mary, thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And God be with you as well.
Yes. Kevin said, forget your supervisor's feelings. Yes.
Yeah, Kevin's right. You can exchange forget with any other letter word that you like. I use the word forget because it's better, but not my favorite.
Stacy said 28 years here in the Postal Service makes your life HE double hockey sticks if you ask for OWCP paperwork and just need to start fighting back.
Well,
yes.
The good news is you don't have to ask for paperwork anymore.
You need to fight back though.
ecomp.dol.gov. Okay, you can fight back virtually now.
Yeah.
And unions, please, this is why I do steward training. All the places I do steward training have powerful unions. I mean, you go to Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, you don't want to mess with those APW.
You're not getting away with it in Birmingham. Okay, that's just not happening.
They're all military.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the federal workforce is got a high percentage.
I'm saying when we trained all those stewards.
Yeah.
I think all 15 of them. Yeah, all 15 of them were military, and we're like, yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with you.
Yeah, I have respect for the APW that it's hard for me to express in words. Just what they've done, the lengths they'll go to keep their members safe is above everybody else. Nobody's really close.
Right. And that's national. They're good people.
Yep, all the way.
All good people.
Yeah, we'll go. We were at a regional event. The national president was there, and some national presidents are like, "Oh, you can't have them there." He walked by and said hi and was fine, like because he understands. Yeah. Like he is not going to have his members be in hell after a work injury, and I respect that so much. You can't even imagine.
Ms. Rosa said, as hard as it may be to comprehend, it is not hard to fathom if you worked at the USPS. It's a sickening environment in so many ways. Empathy for this person who's scared is first and foremost. But you know what though, Ms. Rosa? We hear this every day. They're so scared. Our doctor's offices hear this all the time.
You need a Boston Tea Party. You need a, no taxation without representation moment. Like all it takes is for you to stand up with one voice and say no more.
Yeah.
The law is already there. Like the law is already written. I'm not writing law here. I'm reading law to you. It's already there. All you got to do is use it, enforce it. And we know, like a senior claims examiner who's an AFGE union president, he's a badass. He looks at your supervisors like they're jokes. He said, we look at this stuff they write on the CA1, and usually we're like, they don't know what they're talking about. So the claims examiners are by and large on your side too. So when you think about that, like the person who pays your medical bills, who approves your claims, that person is inclined to think your supervisor is an idiot. Let that sink in. What are you doing being scared of this person that the outside world thinks is a dummy?
Yep.
And I know they're a dummy, okay? I wrote the book on management. They're definitely dummies. And every one of my books has a management chapter, hopefully that they'll read it. But I'm like, I can't get this below a fourth grade reading level. They may not be able to get it. They may not understand the words I'm saying because I can't make it go in third grade language.
Mary said, you should not be scared when you receive all your bills. Nobody will help you pay for it. You will end up broke as heck.
Yeah, or your credit's ruined.
And she said, and then got a bonus. Joke.
Yeah, I hear that.
Let's see.
And by the way, this is not bashing the federal employee night. This is not bashing the union night. We love you. We love them. It's just, look, I'm on the outside, and it's easy for me to see what's happening from the outside because I don't have we say, I don't have a dog in the hunt, okay? But kind of I do because you're my people. I'm with you. I exist because you need me to. If you didn't need me, I don't know what I'd be doing. Maybe I don't know Chick-fil-A. I don't know because people got to eat. But you know what you need? You need somebody that's going to help you. And I love the unions. I think I'm riding back to the unions right now, and some of you are going, oh, okay, that's Chris. He's just in the back pocket of the union. No, I'm not. Look, I know what's what with the unions. I know who's good. I know who's bad. I know who hates me. I know who loves me, and I know who I love. But to all the union reps out there, you have a responsibility to be really good at your job.
Yeah.
Like really good and really strong. You have an obligation to be very strong and to get in the fight.
Did you see what Doesn't Matter said? We lost our union. My CA2 is based on a degeneration over time.
Yeah, well, I mean, TA2s are often based on degeneration over time. So don't worry about that. You just need to find a good doctor. We don't know where you're located, but if you're located near us, we can get that claim accepted.
Kathy said, please everyone share with all your friends and colleagues.
Yes, please do.
And Ron said, when you call OSHA, let your questions be the accusations.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Ron and I have talked about this a lot. A lot of people don't like to make accusations, and I say, hey, I understand. Don't. Just call and ask questions. Is it a violation for my supervisor to hold on to my CA1 and not submit it to OWCP? Is it a violation for my supervisor to prevent me from getting a CA16? Is it a violation for my supervisor to threaten me and tell me he's going to fire me if I file a work injury claim? Is that a violation? Because you say on your website that my sixth employee right is the right to report a work injury. Is this a violation? Like, Ron's right. Your question is your accusation.
All right, so keep moving on here.
All right, so let me say this one because I just love it so much. Whoever induces, and Ron said this, compels or directs an injured employee to forego filing an injury claim shall be fined, imprisoned, or both. That's fun.
And if you think they're not going to get fined or imprisoned, we've heard about it. It's happened. So
it's like
it happened.
Folklore.
Yeah, I mean it's not often, but it happened. It happened when a president told us personally that it happened.
So the problem, okay, so this next thing is about CA17. The CA17 is a duty status report. The duty status report's purpose is to keep you safe at work. Your supervisor fills out side A, goes to the doctor who fills out side B, and inside B, your doctor writes restrictions, takes you off of work, or puts you back to work full duty. And frequently, the supervisors say, I don't have to give you a CA17. And today I was talking to my staff, and I was like, well, you know, there are laws on this, of course, but the easiest place to go is the instruction sheet that's attached to the CA17. Now, I understand. I'm looking at this instruction sheet, and some of these words are big, like physician. That's a big word. Complete, agency. These are big words. Employing, putting the ing on there is probably confusing. So I know the words are not all small words, but it says to the supervisor, complete side A. Here's what it doesn't say. If you have time, complete side A. If you want to, complete side A. If you know what comes first, A or B, complete side A. Like, it just says to do it.
So
and
you want them to complete side A.
It's almost like putting the word shall in there, but there are 5 letters in shall. It might be confusing. And so you got to point out, using the instructions to your supervisor, this says you have to complete side A. What does that mean? What does it mean when it says do side A? It's so confusing. Could you fill out side A? Because it says complete side A and refer the form to the physician to complete side B. You know, we've had supervisors that said you have to get that from your claims examiner. What? Because claims examiner isn't on the instruction sheet. It says supervisor complete side A. And we've had supervisors say, I don't have to give it to you. We've had supervisors say, get it from your doctor. Well, complete side A and refer the form to the doctor. At what point does it say, doctor, get the form, fill it out to the best of your knowledge without the supervisor filling out side A? So obviously I'm just using that's ton of sarcasm. But the CA17s really rubbed me the wrong way because that's at the very top. In fact, let me see if I can show this to you. Oh, wait, no, I can't. The camera's way over there.
Okay.
Right at the top, right above the word supervisor, complete side A, is the title of the form, instructions for completing duty status report. No kidding, it's the first sentence on the instructions. So they did the very best they could to get your supervisors to understand it. They just used so many big words: physician, complete, employing, agency, you know, address. There's address, that's 7 letters. So I mean, this is a problem. They need to use smaller words.
Supervisors, come on. Get with the program, okay?
And
I'm trying to be nice.
Those of you that are new here,
We're going to be really.
All kidding aside, I have a management degree. I am a supervisor. I do supervising very well at my staff. I know how to treat people well. I'd say that the number one thing you do is love people. If you love everybody, things just seem to work out. And your supervisors are missing this, and they won't read the freaking management chapters in any of my books. And I promise, there's not a whole lot of 5 and 6 and 7 letter words in there. They could probably understand it if they had like a thesaurus.
Yeah, buy them.
But thesaurus, they're like thesaurus. That's from the Stone Age.
Yeah, I know. Think of the dinosaurs.
There's no more thesauruses.
When you guys for Christmas for your supervisors, buy them Breaking OWCP Volume 4, even by PDF, and just email it over to them. Seriously.
Yeah, but then they struggle with like downloading it to their phone and like, how do I?
No, well, the person will be buying it and then email it over to them.
But then they got to figure out how to open an email.
True.
It gets so confusing.
I'm not going to be mean.
I am.
He is.
100%. Not supervisor friends.
Yeah.
John, Alex, you're my friends.
People that actually respect you and talk highly of supervisors if you actually change.
And those of you that are supervisors that are friends of mine, just tell your friends. I could be friends with them too one day after they learn the alphabet.
Just fill out the forms, sign the papers, just get it submitted and get out the way. That's all you got to do.
I said I could be friends with them too after they learn the alphabet. You know, I don't learn the alphabet in English and Spanish.
Yeah.
And Portuguese. Okay, and Portuguese. Okay. Quite a bit smarter than supervisors. All right, so when is an employer not required to pay COP? Let's start with this. Continuation of pay, COP. COP is up to 45 days of time off when you have a CA1 claim that is reported within 30 days. So if you report your CA1 within 7 days and get your CA16, you already met the reporting requirement for COP. So just do it. And that claims examiner that we talked to, who is so smart, said everyone should elect COP because the worst thing that happened is you elect sick and annual leave, or you elect COP, and if your claim's not approved, they'll just take your sick and annual leave. Like, you're not actually hurt. So do COP because you can only win from there. But when is an employer not required to pay COP? Let me read these. A, the disability wasn't caused by traumatic injury. In other words, it's not a CA1. Okay, that's fine. That's rules. 2, the employee's not a citizen of the United States. This one rubs me the wrong way on so many levels because you're not a citizen of the United States, but the government still hired you, which happens every day. But you were hired. The government has a responsibility to verify if you're a citizen, but they didn't. But this happens every day. But if you get hurt, you're not a citizen. You can't have COP. I got a problem with that. I'm going to leave it there. C, no written claim was filed within 30 days. Okay, well, that's just the rules. You have to report your CA1 within 30 days. So, okay, we're fine. The not a citizen thing is kind of weird, but we're fine so far. D, the injury was not reported until after employment has been terminated. Okay, so you can't quit, retire, or get fired and then report your injury and hope to get COP. You're not getting continuation of pay when you're not even working for the agency. So that makes sense too. So far, so good, except for the not a citizen thing. I don't understand. But E, the injury occurred, you can't get COP if the injury occurred off the employing agency's premises. So in other words, not on the company's physical premises. And this is really important. It's not and or, it's and was otherwise not within the performance of official duties. So you're off-site and it's not performance of duty. So supervisors all the time will cite performance of duty all the time. They'll say not performance of duty. You can be in the bathroom, in the break room, in the parking lot. They'll say not performance of duty. Idiots, okay? If you're off the agency's premises and not performance of duty, then you can't have COP. It's not one or the other, it's both. And if the injury was caused by the employee's willful misconduct, and this is another one that really pisses me off, because I've got this really famous example, and it's famous because I made it that way. The lady who was lifting a box in Maryland and she fell down, and the supervisor said that she fell due to willful misconduct because she was noticeably unstable throughout the day, and when she lifted that box, she should have known better. So we wrote a paragraph in our narrative report called willful misconduct, and we said the willful misconduct is on the part of the supervisor who noticed a person who was unsafe and allowed them to get hurt. Yep. That's how we do that at Federal Injury Center. Idiots. Okay, a controversion of COP. Check out box 36 on the second page of the CA1 form. You can find this at federalinjurycenters.com. But controversion, the box 36 says, if you intend to controvert continuation of pay, state your reason why. And then the supervisor will write their reason why. That means they intend for you not to get paid. But here's what it says in 20 CFR 10.221, among other things. The final determination on entitlement of COP always rests with OWCP. That means your supervisor can say whatever the hell they want to say. Your claims examiner decides. And remember back to the claims examiner supervisor who essentially said, we look at the stuff the supervisors say and we basically shake our head. Like, we know better. So don't sweat that. But supervisors, you know, if you learn to read in 5th grade language, you do better at this. So may the employer monitor the employee's medical care. And this is going to be the last law I'm going to talk about. We can answer more questions. We have a problem where your supervisors think they're smart and they call the doctor and say, we need information. They call the doctor and say, we need information. In this law, 20 CFR 10.506 says the employer shall not contact the physician by telephone or through personal visit. The supervisor shall not contact the physician by telephone or through personal visit. The employer may contact the employee's physician in writing concerning the work limitations imposed by the effects of the injury and possible job assignments. They may contact the physician in writing about work limitations. That's it. We have supervisors saying we want the entire medical record.
Oh yeah, that was another one.
Well, you don't get that. We have work limitations. It's called a TA-17. By the way, side A is for you. You're supposed to fill that out. That's how you get what you want. It's all you're entitled to. Now, you can have a CA-20 and the supervisor can request that, but they have to request it from their employee and the employee takes the request to the doctor. Supervisors are trying to go around the employee and bully the doctor, and that is a violation of law. The employer shall not contact the physician by telephone. So, you know, it says here, the employer, they may monitor the employee's medical progress and duty status. That's a CA-17 where the supervisor fills out side A. By obtaining periodic medical reports, which is a CA-17. And it says, in fact, next sentence, Form CA-17 is usually adequate for this purpose. To aid in returning an injured employee to suitable employment, the employer may also contact the employee's physician in writing concerning the work limitations imposed by the effect of the injury and possible job assignments. However, the employer shall not contact the physician by telephone or through personal visit. The employer may also contact the employee, not the doctor, at reasonable intervals to request periodic medical reports, which is a CA-20, addressing his or her ability to return to work, which would be a CA-17. Your supervisors, your agency has no right whatsoever to speak to your doctor without your knowledge. None. Now, your supervisor can ask your permission. Can I speak to your doctor? And you can give it. And if you give it, don't call me when you don't like the result. Do not give your supervisor, do not give your agency permission to speak to your doctor. They get one thing and one thing only, and that's a form. It's a CA-17. It's actually two things. They can have a CA-20, and that's all they can have. And they got to get it in writing.
Yeah, our offices know not to answer any type of questions if a supervisor calls, and some supervisors have actually called the offices.
Yeah, Tom was just telling me a story. Tom's my business partner. Tom was just telling me a story today about a supervisor who called, I think he said 7 or 11 times and left messages. So like proof that the call happened to the doctor's office. And so Tom called and talked to that supervisor's boss and said, hey, did you know that your employee called here 7 or 11 times, which constitutes a violation of law 7 or 11 times? What should we do about this? That supervisor got fired, actually.
Really?
Yeah, the supervisor's boss fired him.
There you go, guys.
So they're not allowed to call your doctor. Don't let them. All right, that's all the laws I'm going to get. That is all of my woodshed laws. Now I'm just going to answer questions.
We're going to answer questions. So again, if you were not at the beginning, we said for woodshed night, going over about supervisors, all the rules Chris read. We won't go back over that again till 2024.
Early next year.
So this is the last time for the year that we are having woodshed night. So the videos are on here. They never get deleted. You can share, you can like, follow, everything. Again, and it's also on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. All right, Jennifer said an employee had a simple restriction, only asking for 2 extra hours for rest breaks after a sprained ankle. Still within 45 days, employee was told not to return to work until he had no restrictions by his supervisor. This is horrible.
So if that was a rural carrier, that's how it's always going to be. Rural carriers get the short end of the stick on limited duty assignments. I should have said that. Rural carriers, it's basically all or none. I hate that, but I didn't write that rule, and I didn't write the rural carrier contract, union contract with the agency either.
Ron said, no, I love windshield night. Only because, we do it like every quarter. So we don't want to burn people out.
Well, and it's a special night for me, Ron.
Yeah.
I like it to stay special, so we do it twice a year.
You know what you should do?
What, quarterly or twice a year? What are we doing?
We do every quarter.
Oh, quarterly. That's probably too much, but we'll do it quarterly.
What we should do, now I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay.
Oh, now I have a question. I already read them all. You should get like the best of the best real supervisor stories. And we should read those, or you could put it in a maybe a volume 5 book, if ever.
So I've asked for these before. If you want to send us a private message on Wednesday night OWCP chats, where you should be watching from now, send us a private message and tell us your story.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened. Cool. What are the stupid things your supervisor said and did? I love to hear that stuff because I'll showcase it next time around.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And I can imagine what a funny book that would be, writing a whole book on stupid advisors. And I just named the book. I named the book The Plight of Stupid Advisors, but I'd make sure to spell some words wrong because it's about supervisors.
I think he's going to start writing volume 5 tomorrow.
I'm not. I got some other things to work on, but that's in my mind.
While you guys are getting your questions for us to ask, just a few housekeeping things that we didn't go over because we started right from the beginning. Next Wednesday through Friday, we will be in Ocala with APW.
That's Florida.
Ocala, Florida. It is their fall booster, and we're always so thankful to Angela.
Do we know if we get to the hospitality night yet? Angela, Victor, I want to do hospitality night.
So that's what we're going to be doing on the 20th, the 21st, and 22nd in Ocala. So if anybody's in the Ocala that is not part of USPS or AFGE, you are welcome to come by. Did I say that right?
It's fine. Come see us.
No, yeah. If you are a part of USPS or AFGE.
You mean APW?
No, I'm saying other agencies if they wanted to come by, like BOP is there. Like,
so what she's saying, you don't have to be a clerk to show up.
Right.
Come see us.
It doesn't matter if you're in USPS or
Got
AFGE. Yeah. And then on September 28th, that is a Thursday, Chris and I will be in Dr. Harper's office doing Sip and Socialize, hosted by Dr. Harper, in Montgomery, Alabama. That's the 28th from 6 to 9. He's looking for union leaders, union presidents, anybody that is an entrepreneur, anybody that has a business. You can come by if there's any stewards in the area or any other federal employee, come by and see us.
Deborah Gullidge, I just read your message. I don't need to read it out loud. It's private for you, but send me a private message here, and that's just so I don't forget, and I will speak to the office and find out what's going on there.
Okay. Where is it? It's in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a Montgomery Sip and Social event. It'll be super fun. The first one we did here was awesome.
Yeah.
This will be our second. And yeah, I spoke to Dr. Harper today. He is super excited.
He's excited, yeah.
Really excited. And we are too. It's going to be fun. We love seeing our friends in Montgomery, Alabama. In fact, I think some of our first union friends or federal friends were in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah.
That's kind of where
it all started.
Montgomery's like ground zero for federal injury centers. So if you're in that area, like, it's a real gift to you to have Dr. Harper there. He's an incredible guy.
Mr. Porter, Mr. Henderson, Danielle,
yeah.
Lisa,
yeah.
the gang. We want to see you guys.
We hope you're all there. And if you're not, I'm going to come hunt you down.
Yeah, so again, next Wednesday we'll be in Ocala, Florida at the APW convention. We are going to be interviewing Victor Sanchez that night and possibly Angela, the president for Jacksonville, and who puts all of this on every year. And then on the 28th, we are going to be in Montgomery, Alabama with Dr. Harper doing Sip and Socialize. So see if you guys can come out and join us.
Hey, guess what? We're going to be recording our first podcast episode.
Yes. Tomorrow afternoon.
We're going to be recording it. So we're going to be live on the Breaking OWCP Facebook page.
Yes.
If you're not following that page yet, and most of you aren't, like 13,000 of you are not following that page yet. Go to Breaking OWCP on Facebook and follow that page. It will be the only place that we will ever show our podcast live. From there, the podcast will be on every podcast platform.
Yeah.
Right. But we like to do it live because we're used to the live stuff. So we'll be live while we're recording our podcast tomorrow.
So you get to see all the bloopers.
Yeah. Ron says about time. I know. But yeah, it'll be fun. We're excited about it. You're going to get the raw, unedited version when you're watching live tomorrow afternoon. And then everyone will see the very clean, neat, and edited version, or hear it wherever you hear your podcast. While you're at work, driving around your LOB, or whatever you do for work, put your headset in. You'll be able to hear it while you're working.
I like this question from Renee Smith. Can you talk a little on retaliation after an injury?
Yeah, it's a crime. I can talk a lot about it. It's a crime. If somebody retaliates against you, you immediately call OSHA, you contact the OIG, and you contact DOJ because they are violating law. So that's DOJ. OIG is there to sort of, referee the agency. And OSHA says it's a crime to prevent you from filing a work injury. And believe me, threatening retaliation against you would prevent you from filing a work injury. So that's what I think about it. And you file a grievance too, because file a grievance. Because it starts with a G. Who cares? File a grievance. Everyone needs to be filing grievances on this. We need to raise hell when supervisors do this stuff. That's the only way to stop it.
Yeah. Speaking about your podcast, just so you guys know, I will be starting 2 podcasts. One's going to be called All About the Karens, and it is exactly what you think it is.
And I know none of you are Karens. We don't have Karens on our show.
And not on our street, but I will be starting that. And
that one up there, that one up there.
We have 30 Karens in our neighborhood, and I'm also going to be doing one called Influencers Hub, where I bring influencers on and talk about their journey and how they got started and where they're at today. So once I get that up, I'll let you guys know.
And I have no idea what mine and Jason's going to be called.
Yeah.
But I got a comedy one coming too. It's hard to have a whole bunch of ideas and do what we do because like what I do takes up an entire day. I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning or earlier and
Ron.
And like immediately I just boom, like I hit the ground running first thing every morning and then I stop late. And then she starts late and then I got to keep going because I know where the couch is and I know where the bed is. So I probably just got to answer whatever question she tells me because the couch is not as comfortable. But
You're such a dork.
But we're still trying to find time to do some other fun stuff outside of OWCP, and we hope that all of you that know us will follow that too. It'll be fun. As these things develop, we'll let you know. Or as my dad says, I'll bring you more as things develop.
Yeah, so watch out for All About the Karens. Exactly what it sounds like. And Influencers Hub. You never know, I may be interviewing you one day. So,
yeah.
Ron says so a lot in your community.
Yeah, there's a few. Like two doors
Ron,
down.
I bet you have a lot of Kevins with those. No, it's Darrens and Karens.
Come on, Ron.
Did you know that?
They don't start with K. They rhyme with Karen.
Stupid.
Yes, one guy. I'm not gonna tell him. I had to make my neighbor 2 doors down go home. I was like, dude, just go home. He was mad at one of his kids. Like, you cannot come to my house and yell at kids.
Yeah. Kids' friends.
You can knock on the door and yell at me, and I'll yell back at you, and it'll be fine. But go home. You don't yell. Go home.
So everybody we've been telling we're going to do this, they're completely supportive. And then Chris and my soon-to-be brother-in-law, they're going to be doing, I don't even know what the name is going to be called, but it's going to just be something where you're going to go when you want to get away from politics and all the nonsense and all the religion and all the nonsense and all the Karens and all the nonsense and just listen to funny, dumb shit to laugh.
You know, I'm not that funny, but when I get into a conversation with Jason, my funny turns on, like, gets on steroids. He infects me with, like, laughter.
Yeah.
And he's so dry and I'm so dry, and it's like two dry guys just being funny as hell.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. And it'll be totally unscripted.
Yeah, and the next 2 podcasts you guys should be following is with Ron Speakman, Fed Up. Everybody should be going and following there. He has great content out. Podcasts are awesome. And go follow Kenny Hodge. What is it?
Hodge the Hodge
podcast.
Yeah.
So go follow both those guys. They put out amazing information, and then we will be, piggybacking and starting and talking about OWCP issues.
Anybody ever seen I think late 80s, early 90s show? It was Max Headroom. Max Headroom was like this computer generated thing. It was like AI before AI, and he was really glitchy. Our screen looks like Max Headroom.
Wrong.
All right, so hey, that's it. You just experienced another edition of Woodshed Night with the special woodsheds up top. That was fun, and I appreciate your patience in allowing me to sound off, because this stuff really pisses me off. And not taking it personal. Unions, I love you all, even the ones that don't love me. And supervisors, I don't know what to tell you. Start with your ABCs. We'll see what comes next.
Yeah, so see, he had all these papers here with, you can't see right there, with the different rules, laws, and regulation. I'll go through them like one by one. Like tomorrow, I will post about COP, what it says about COP. So I'll just put one at a time, one a week. This way you guys could take a look at those in case you need to give it to a friend. But the best way to get all of the rules, laws, and regulations is just go to breakingowcp.com. You can buy the book PDF. And I did put out a poll yesterday or today. If you want an actual copy, like a hardcover copy, like paperback copy, click you want a book instead of a PDF. So we will probably have some books for the day after Thanksgiving.
Normally I would say the customer is always right, but if you want a paperback copy, you're not right. I can get you one if there's enough demand.
Yeah.
But the right thing is downloading it to your phone, because you can't put this book in your pocket and it won't be there when your supervisor pulls it for crap.
Yeah.
The only way you really fight back using the law is if you have the book downloaded to your phone. That's why I always say, criticism, put Breaking OWCP in your pocket. You put it in your pocket by downloading it to your phone. Everybody has their phone all the time, but nobody carries a book with them in their pockets.
Yeah, so go to breakingowcp.com. Once you buy it and you submit it to purchase, please stay on that page, because there is a download button.
You gotta click the book and download it. Don't leave. There's a button that says download this book. You've got to go download it. It doesn't just automatically download without downloading. Nothing does, by the way, on the internet. You can buy something that's a download, but nothing on the internet downloads until you make it download. So don't leave the page. It's not the end of the world if you do. I can email it to you, but it's a hassle for you. So be sure you download it. And
for Federal Injury Center locations, please go to www.federalinjurycenters.com, click locations, and they should all be located there. And next week, we can't wait to be with the Florida APW at the Fall Boost Bureau. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. See you later. Have a good night.